on Facebook. Should I be? Because there's a delay.
It's going live now.
Good afternoon and welcome. I am here with the Vanguard Reed Quintet. They are the 2018 Fischoff Senior Win Silver Medalists. We are so delighted. We have 2 of the 5 members because we are here today to celebrate their album release party. It's the Red Leaf Collection. We're so excited to talk to you about this and get to hear where you are these days, what you've been up to since 2018. You have been very busy. You all have been all over the country. I actually had to create a map so that I could figure out where you were, because I was like, now are they in Austin or Boston? Someone's from Baltimore, someone was in Kansas at some point. But I know you guys all came together at University of Michigan, and that's how we came to know you when you arrived in South Bend in 2018. So actually, I'm going to start by having you guys introduce just the 2 of you, and then if maybe you would introduce us to the rest of the ensemble who can't be with us today.
All right, hi, my name's Sagar Anupindi. I'm the oboist in the Vanguard Reed Quintet.
And my name is Michaela Chapman, and I'm the clarinetist.
And the 3 members who aren't here with us this afternoon, we've got Sean Myers, the saxophonist, Nico Chona, the bass clarinetist, and Joseph Swift, our bassoonist. So the ensemble was formed in around 2016, 2017, while we were students at the University of Michigan. I'm actually one of the only original from the very early days of the group. The original members left in the group. And we formed just because we really liked this instrumentation. Some of our friends and mentors, the Acropolis Reed Quintet, also came out of the University of Michigan, and they kind of, we were familiar with them and what they were doing, and we wanted to do that ourselves. And so in around 2016, we formed this ensemble. In early 2017, we came out to the world as the Vanguard Reed Quintet. And yeah, so we, through our time at the University of Michigan, we were performing there. We placed in the school's in-house chamber music competition, the Dale and Nancy Briggs chamber music competition in 2017. And then in 2018, we were very lucky to be invited to the quarterfinals at Fischoff, and we were very, very grateful to make it to semifinals and then finals, and then receive the silver medal.
Fantastic. And so now how did you said you were one of the founding members. How did you assemble the group that you currently have today?
So there's been some turnaround, semester to semester, basically. Some people felt like they had other things that they needed to do instead, and other personal reasons to leave the group. And so we found people that we thought would work really well with us. Throughout, first it was Sean joined up, and then we brought Joe on, and then Michaela, and then our bass clarinetist, now Nico, was not our bass clarinetist at the time of Fischoff. But it was just finding people who we thought would work well with us, who we thought would be really passionate about doing this, and we were there were a lot of we wanted to make sure they were committed to making this ensemble a reality for more than just our time at school.
Yeah, and you guys have done that. I mean, since 2018, a lot has happened. I do know that Nico is actually a Fischoff alum. He was here in 2012. Is it the Noctua Wind Quartet? And actually, I looked. Quintet, sorry, that's right. And they actually placed 3rd, and in 2nd place was the Acropolis that year. So then they came back, and Acropolis ended up being one of our grand prize winners. And actually, the year you guys were here, we were also dominated by University of Michigan. The Donald Sinta Quartet was here. So there is a very strong presence coming from Ann Arbor.
Yes.
Which we're happy to have a neighbor just north of northeast of South Bend.
Mhm.
Well, maybe the one question I wanted to ask about your group is you probably had naming rights then to the group. How did you come up with the Vanguard?
That's
Michaela can
actually
tell us, yeah.
that's actually a hilarious question because I was actually there for the moment when the actual name happened, but I wasn't part of the group. Sean and I were actually taking Carrie Landry's Business of Chamber Music class, which she's a member of the Acropolis Reed Quintet. We were taking a little class with her, and we had a project where we had to come up with names for our project, and it was kind of like, build your own, like I can't even remember. I think I did like a little chamber music series, or like build your own thing and like pretend it's going to be a reality kind of a thing. And Sean and I were sitting in the lounge at school trying to name our projects, and and at the same time Vanguard was searching for a name, because this was spring of 2017, and I wasn't in the group yet. But we were just sitting there brainstorming names for our projects, and out of the blue, Sean just he turned to me and he was like, Vanguard. And it just came to him. And, it was, I don't know if he was looking at a thesaurus, or I don't even know what he was doing, but it just came to him, and he was like, Vanguard, 5 people, V, the whole thing, and front lines of the the chamber music world, and the whole thing. And it just stuck from there. When he said that, I was like, that's it, and I think it served us well. We really love the name, and we think it really suits the group. And yeah.
That's great. Well, you should also have the financial institution support you guys too for their Vanguard funds, right?
Yeah.
If you need a corporate sponsor.
Yeah.
Well, as I mentioned, you guys have been super busy planning both individually as well as a quintet since 2018. And so what I'd love is to talk a little bit about kind of where you were during the competition. Maybe you can talk about what it was like there, and maybe how that solidified what has been coming next for you guys.
Yeah. So for us, Fischoff 2018 really started in 2017. Believe it or not, the group submitted to Fischoff in 2017 and didn't make it to quarterfinals. Yeah. And I know
competition is fierce.
It's fierce.
There's so many great.
It is fierce. And
ensembles.
at that time, the group was really just starting to become serious. It was still a school-based, class, taking chamber music class kind of ensemble. It wasn't, so much looking towards the future yet. But I think it was once that rejection letter came, it was, we have to do this. And speaking for myself, I actually wasn't a part of the group at the time, but speaking for myself, Fischoff has been a dream of mine since I was in high school. Same for a lot of members in the group, and it's something that we've always looked up to and really admired the groups that come out and medal at the competition. And I think the first time I ever heard Reed Quintet was because Acropolis played at Fischoff, and I didn't even know Reed Quintet existed. And I was actually personally looking at Vanguard doing their thing and being kind of jealous, they're doing such cool stuff. I want to be a part of that. And then over the summer of 2017, the clarinetist won a job with the Air Force Band, and they asked me to join. And one of the caveats of joining the group was you have to be all in for Fischoff. And I was like, yes, sign me up, let's go. And so it was really a year-long preparation process for us. We took the pre-screening recordings extremely seriously. We had been performing, we started that repertoire over the summer, and really dug in the fall with our coaches, and really spent a lot of time performing the music for a lot of different people. And this was even before we recorded our pre-screening stuff. We took, the repertoire selections very seriously. We talked to a lot of people who had been to Fischoff and, got a lot of advice from, how to select repertoire and how to do your recordings and how to, make a statement with that. And we took it extremely seriously. I think we did, I want to say I don't even remember how many recording sessions. I want to say at least 6. Because we were not going to settle for mediocrity. We wanted it to be the best representation of ourselves as we could, and to stay true to the music, as well, because reed quintet's not as common, and we really wanted to make a statement with that and to show the world that the reed quintet is, just as valuable as all of the other instrumentations. And so once we, and in that preparation, that's when we fell in love with each other as a group. That's when we were it was our last year at school together. We were all about to graduate. Some of us with our masters, Sagar with his undergrad, and we just knew we had to have more after this. And, that's actually, Sagar will talk about this later, but that's actually kind of when the concept of the album came up. This was, in our prep for Fischoff, and just how are we going to make this group survive after we all part ways? And, we worked so hard for that competition, and it wasn't about winning. It was about, obviously, yeah, we want to win, but it was about being the best musicians and chamber musicians that we could be, and really bringing our group to the next level. And it was in that preparation where we, I think, realized that we had something special. And, it's not every day that you find musicians who are on the same page as you about chamber music and who really want to take it seriously and really want to go that next step. Right. And we just knew we had something special, and we worked so hard for the competition. It was our first big competition that we ever did. The only other one that we had done at that point was the Michigan SMTD Dale and Nancy Briggs in-house chamber music competition, which we did place at, but at that point we hadn't done any of the others. And we're gonna go all in. We want to go all in. This is a big dream for all of us, and regardless of what happens, we're so proud of where we got as an ensemble together musically. And winning the silver medal was obviously icing on the cake, but it it was really a validating moment for us, because that intense, super detailed work, I can't even begin to describe how hard we worked for it. It was score study and playing for everyone. We played for string players, wind players, I don't even know, so many of our friends, so many of our composers. Yeah, we played for other composers. We played for literally anyone and everyone that we could get to listen to us. Wow. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm really impressed. And, I know that a lot of groups apply, don't get in, reapply. We've had groups, Acropolis, they placed second one year, then they came back and they won the grand prize. We've got the Callisto Quartet that actually won the grand prize the year you were there. Between the 4 of them, they had been to 22 Fischoffs, because some of them had been coming since they were juniors. And so, Toyin Spellman Diaz from the Amani Winds, the oboist from Amani Winds, she talks about how after they met with the jurors a year that they did not advance, they all sat in a room and were like, this is great feedback, because, that Saturday night with the jurors, you get to talk to them. Now, if you guys went straight to the finals, you never actually had that ice rink social event. And that's why I'm blown away that, first year didn't make it, but second year came in, and you guys, what was it like to go through the rounds? Because that's an intense weekend. You get there and progress. And how did you feel you guys grew in that live environment?
For us, it was so surreal. we kind of felt like we were floating the whole time. I think the reason that we did so well was because we were confident and we were prepared. And we didn't expect anything. We expected to do our best and to show everyone what the Reed Quintet is made of. And, you know, it was so nerve-wracking. I could tell stories. I think the most nervous any of us have ever been was actually waiting for the finals announcement. And also the medal announcement. Like, we were like sick to our stomachs. That's how nervous we were. And I mean, for me personally, like walking on that stage, it was like, I felt starstruck, honestly. It was one of those moments where it's like, you see all of the amazing groups that have been on this stage before. And, you know, obviously I'm a little bit biased because I love chamber music so much, but it's such incredible musicians. And, you know, it's like, oh my God, we're actually here and we're actually doing this. And like I said before, it kind of felt like I was floating and I kind of went almost on autopilot. And that's where the preparation really, really came in, because you know, performance anxiety is something that every musician deals with, but I think we were so prepared that it just happened, and we played our best, and you know, it's all we could do. And really, you know, the first round, we had no idea what to expect. We were just like, all right, this is it, make or break. Let's just go out there, do our best, you know, trust our preparation. And it worked. And we got to semifinals and we're like, oh my gosh, this is really happening. And so, you know, with the semifinals, I think our kind of, I don't know, outlook on it was, we have nothing to lose.
Right.
We literally have nothing to lose. Like, this is our first big competition. We've worked really hard for it. Let's just show them what we've got. And worked again.
Yeah, and you did. You absolutely did.
Yeah.
You know, somebody described it to me as, you know, the finals is like the Academy Awards, Best New Artist. Yes. This is what it's all about.
Yes.
And, you know, here you guys are, 2020, June of 2020. So that was obviously a very formative moment. I know you guys obviously have fond memories of South Bend. We heard that you were in South Bend for a retreat last fall. Yep. So maybe you could walk us through what happened between, you know, May of 2018 and then when you gathered back in retreat in, what was it, September of 2019?
Yeah.
What happened in that year period to get you guys going?
Yeah, so the big thing, we did a lot of different stuff, but honestly, the big project was our album, and which today it's finally here. It's been a long time in the making, but yeah, that was our main focus. That was kind of going off the high of, you know, getting the medal at Fischoff. It was now time to really dig into our, you know, creative and artistic, you know, vision for our music that we commissioned, that, you know, we want to be a part of the Reed Quintet repertoire. And yeah, so Sagar can talk a little bit more about that.
Yeah, talk a little bit about the genesis of this project, and how you went about it.
Yeah, so you know, right around when we were starting together as a group, a composer had just started at the University of Michigan as well, Doug Hertz, and he approached us. I think he had met Sean at orientation, and like he had met a couple of the rest of us, you know, in his first couple of weeks at Michigan. And he approached us. He was really interested in writing a Reed Quintet, and so we got together with him. We worked that year, throughout that year, 2016-17, working with him, workshopping the piece, premiering it in March, and and that was our first experience commissioning and working with a composer. And as that was winding down, we were like, we've got to do this again, we've got to do this more. And we're at this great institution, the University of Michigan. We've got so many great composition colleagues whose voices we really respect and admire, and we think that they could fit really well with the Reed Quintet. And so we approached 5 other people to write for us, and that was the first step. Is we wanted to commission a bunch of composers to write new music for the Reed Quintet, because the Reed Quintet, for those that don't know, is a really young ensemble. Unlike something like the string quartet that has 400 years of history, the Reed Quintet has only really been around for about 3 decades, and so there's not as huge of a wealth of repertoire that other chamber music ensembles might have. And so that was part of our reason for the commissioning part of it, to get new music out there for the Reed Quintet. And then to record an album, part of it was what Michaela said, was this was a goal that we could set for after we had graduated from Michigan, is a goal we could set in order to have a long-term goal that extends past our time at school. So Fischoff was one of them, and that happened a couple of weeks after we graduated. But then this album is the next big thing that we can look to and really allow the ensemble to continue to come together and have something to work towards. Mm-hmm. So that's part of it. The other part of it is, again, the Reed Quintet doesn't have as huge of a wealth of repertoire. And so recording these new works, we feel that was a great way of solidifying this music into the repertoire of the Reed Quintet, just because there's something really concrete there that people can go and listen to and go back to as part of the library of works for Reed Quintet.
So I know you guys tonight, you're having your virtual release party, and you're going to get more in depth on the artistic side of what the pieces mean and what they're all about. What I wanted to spend just a couple minutes is, you're trained as musicians to delve into the score, collaborate as an ensemble. But what was it like on the sort of production side of trying to figure out, how do we commission these? How do we put this together in one album? Six very different composers. Of course, it's the same group, the ensemble's the same, but their perspectives are different. So just really the production side, how do you get that going? And then how do you get it to the point where last night at midnight, you're logging on to CD Baby, seeing this is released, and Spotify, like, oh my gosh, here we are.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a long process. I didn't mention that the initial conception for the album happened about like 3 years ago, in I would say probably the fall of 2017, and then we really started getting to work on it in 2018. And yeah, so we recorded all the tracks in December of 2018. Mm-hmm. We have a fantastic recording engineer who has also done all of the technical work for groups like Acropolis, the Prism Quartet, and many more. And he's just absolutely fantastic, Dave Schall. And we got with him. We got a respected teacher and mentor to us to produce the album. So he's sitting in the booth, looking at the score, making sure we're playing everything right, making sure we aren't missing anything, telling us when we're doing stuff wrong. And having those people in the booth, being able to converse with us, tell us what we need to do to get the absolute best product we can, that's really, really the biggest thing. And then obviously the financial side of things is a huge part of it too. So while we were at the University of Michigan, we received a small grant from the Excel Lab at the university, which is the entrepreneurship program. So that, their support has been great for funding this album. And then we also, in that fall of 2018, we created a Kickstarter campaign to raise, I think, $8,000 to help fund the album, the recording process, the distribution costs, all those things. And that was successfully funded. like I think a week before the deadline, which was amazing.
Wow.
And so, those kinds of things are what help make this possible. We spent the next year or so going back and forth with our engineer Dave, editing the album, making sure we got every single take, the best takes possible for every single measure. Dropping in little, at some points, even like a single note he could put in to make it absolutely
that much
perfect.
Better, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so that was kind of the process we were going through last year, was getting the album actually put together, each track actually put together. And then, come this year, we were anticipating releasing at some point this year. By I think February or so, we had the final mixed and mastered tracks, and we just had to finalize a couple things and put it through CD Baby, or who's distributing everything for us. And once this lockdown started happening, and live performances are being canceled, we're like, this might be the best time to release an album, because people are kind of craving new musical content that you're not able to get by going to a concert. And so this might be the best possible time to give our audiences and other people some new Reed Quintet music.
Yeah, because we were initially planning on trying to do something in person and doing like an actual party instead of on Facebook, but obviously with everything going on, that's not possible. And yeah, it was the time.
So now that you've done this once, what would you say? I mean, I'm assuming that there's going to be future releases, but what advice, or what was your biggest takeaway or lesson learned from this, that, going next time, you're like, oh, now that we've done this, here's one big takeaway that you can.
Yeah. I think the biggest takeaway that we had from the whole thing is how important it is to be prepared for your recording session day. We function as a long distance group now, since we've graduated, and we've been doing this for 2 years now. But that when we recorded the album, it was our first year of being long distance, and we don't get to see each other that much, as much as you would want to before recording an album. And so, that meant that when we did come together, we really had to be extremely over prepared, and make sure that not only did we know our part, but knew everyone else's part as well. And really, we did a lot of score study and those kinds of things. So the best takeaway, I think, is to just be over prepared. Because when we only had 3 days to record. We did it 3 days back to back, because that's logistically what we had to do. Some groups will, do it months apart, or, whatever. But for us, logistically and financially, that's what we had to do. Mm-hmm. And so we just had to be ready to go. And, it was nerve-wracking. And recording 3 days straight is really exhausting. Really hard. Because our album is 52 minutes of music or something like that. Okay. And only 3 days to do that.
I think we had 6-hour days, 3 days in a row of recording.
Wow. So our feet had never hurt so bad.
Oh, I bet. No shoes by the end.
Yeah. Oh, no shoes the whole time.
Oh, wow. Well, what I would love is to just spend a little minute. I know you're going to dig into it tonight, to talk about these pieces. So you named it actually after one of the compositions. Yeah. So maybe you could talk a little bit about how you decided to name it and sort of curate this album.
That was the naming process took a while. We were, racking our brains about how should we name this album. And like you mentioned, one of the pieces on the album is titled Red Leaf Collection, which is the title of our album. And, so the story behind this piece is just so wonderful. The composer, Carolyn, she is originally from Arizona, and she was, she started her undergrad at the University of Michigan, coming from a place that doesn't really have real fall or winter. Mm-hmm. Their climate is very, warm most of the year. And so she started collecting these red leaves, these, vibrant leaves she would find on the ground. and she collected them and had them on a bowl on her dresser. And I think in the program notes, she calls them her beautiful treasures. And, that's something that really, in revisiting those program notes and the story behind this piece, we were like, this really relates to how we feel about the pieces on our album. Because these composers, we spent time with them at the university. They're some of our really great friends. And so we really treasure the music that they've written for us, our friendships with them, our collaborations with them. And, that's kind of the reason, and and then it just worked well as a name for the album, and so that's kind of why we chose that title.
Wow. Yeah, it's I mean, the album is amazing. It seems there's a wide range of emotions. There seems to be a bit of a theme related to red, fire, aliens taking over your body possibly. But there are a few things now in the midst of COVID. I think about actually Doug Hertz's piece about the salamander that has no eyelids, right? And this sense of timelessness, or the sort of oddity of time that very relevant now. And then also the poem that what is the Be That Empty. Mm-hmm. Yeah, just that poem by Rumi really, as I was reading it, was incredibly powerful. So now that you're in this time, maybe you can just talk briefly about, gosh, the impact of this music as you've been finally packaging it. All of you guys hunkered down in your various locations. Did it resonate at a different level?
I think so. For me personally, it feels like it happened so long ago because we recorded it in December of 2018, and we've been playing this music for the past 2-ish years. And when I turned it on this morning, it was just like, wow, we are on the internet forever. And it really hit me of how powerful this music is. And then I've been receiving text messages all day from mentors and friends and, people who know me and know my playing, but have taken the time to send me a message and be like, wow, this is really special. I'm so proud of you. And that's really pride is what I feel for not only Vanguard, but for the composers as well. Like their music is, speaking to people. And I think that's really powerful.
Yeah. Well, I know tonight you guys are going to delve into this stuff. We're excited to join you. We'll be tuning in for your virtual release party tonight at 6:00. I think I was hoping maybe just the last question is, what's next for you guys? I mean, all of you guys individually are so accomplished. I know, Sagar, you just got back from Eastman up in Rochester. You're working, Michaela, for the Detroit Symphony. Nico's in Chicago with the Civic Orchestra. Joe is pursuing, his DMA at Stony Brook. And who am I forgetting?
Sean.
Sean. Yeah. Now he's in Boston. I thought he was in Austin, but now he's in Boston, doing a bunch of work out there. So what keeps you guys together? And then B, what's next?
I think what keeps us together is the fact that we have such a strong bond. And, not only do we play music together, but we're family. We get along so well. We Skype or FaceTime or whatever all the time. We have a constant group chat. We're a family. And it's just so important to us to, stick together. And, we're in it for the long haul. Like we really want, to make an impact, with the Reed Quintet and with our group. And it's something that we just love. It's almost an addiction, and, what's next for us? Obviously, COVID-19 has put a hold on a lot of those projects. We have some stuff that, we're in the works for the spring and then now the fall, but obviously I don't want to give too much away with, because some of it might not happen. It's kind of all, hanging in the air, but, some university residencies and playing for some series and stuff, we're working on that stuff. But we're gonna wait to announce it until anything is for sure. Because obviously the world is in, such turmoil, and there's, so many unknowns right now. And, we're hoping for the best, but you'll definitely see us soon. Follow us on our Facebook and Instagram. We're at Vanguard RQ. Our website is vanguardrq.com. And maybe you'll see us at Fischoff someday. Never know. We might come back for that gold. Who knows? We'll see. It's definitely in the talks. So we'll see what happens.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. Well, we are so delighted to catch up with you. We only wish the best for you, and we're so appreciative of the time that you put together the Red Leaf collection. And really continue to expand this genre, right? I mean, like you said, it's such a young, the literature for the Reed Quintet is so young and new, and we love all these new voices that are coming to the table. So thank you for helping facilitate that. And we look forward to hearing all of these big announcements once things are back live. It's been a pleasure. Thanks, you guys.
Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah.
It's been, Fischoff was such a huge moment in our careers, both personally and as an ensemble. And we absolutely love what you all do there. And thank you so much for giving us this time to talk about us.
Thank you.
Thank you.